Today I'm going to show you what it looks like to do a forced regen, in this case on a 2015 Newell motor coach with a Cummins ISX. So stay tuned. Hi friends, I'm Steve with RV Squared. Thanks for watching. So let's talk about a manual regen. Now normally, under normal driving conditions, the Cummins ECM will automatically force a regen as you're driving. And you won't even know this is happening unless you see, by chance, a hot exhaust tag on your dash. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in a second here. But in this case, I had replaced my DEF doser, which was malfunctioning, and when we took it out, it was definitely clogged up. This was a problem way back when, that they had an ECM update that supposedly fixed the problem. But in the meantime, my DEF doser wasn't functioning correctly, and it's basically a really small pinhead sprayer. And if you can imagine a squirt bottle that gets clogged up, you don't get spray anymore, you get a stream. And what's happening inside that tube is it's just not getting that DEF particulized like it should. And I suspect I've also got some crystallization inside the tube, because I've also got crystals hanging down outside of that cross pipe, which we're going to clean up probably in another couple weeks. So let's talk about a regen process that is not automatic. If you have some type of errors, fault codes, DPF codes, SCR codes, DEF codes, there are instances in which those codes can be cleared, and you need to do the research on your own and be under the advisement of your mechanic or the service facility, or in this case PDI, who may tell you, yeah, it's time you should do a forced regen. Now the forced regen is something that you do when you're parked on a clear road with no vegetation, no dry grass, nothing flammable or combustible anywhere around your exhaust, because the exhaust temps get really super high. The next thing you do is, in this case, I use a PDI tuner. Now the PDI tuner has already been commanded to start a regen, and it's a no-brainer deal. You go into the vehicle diagnostics and you basically push start regen. It'll tell you if you've done anything wrong, whether your engine isn't warmed up, or you're not in the right gear, or your foot's on the brake. After that, it will start a very small fast idle. In this case, it's hovering right at 900 RPMs, and you'll notice here the hot exhaust temp light comes on pretty much immediately. We are going on just at 30 minutes, and these regens are known to take anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. Now, what I want to do is, I've got a temp gun. We're going to go outside and we're going to give a quick temp on that exhaust, because I've walked out there a couple times to check on things, and you can smell it's hot and you can feel it's really hot. I can smell it's nice and warm. So let's walk over there and check it out and see how hot it is. I'm not going to speak because you're not going to be able to hear me. So as you can see, those temps are pretty hot, somewhere in the range of 675 to 750. So you want to make sure that the back of your coach is completely clear. Don't back it up against somebody else's garage, in this case the storage center. You certainly don't want to be near anything combustible, a fence, or even dry vegetation. And it's been going for 45 minutes now. So we're going to be coming up on an hour, and I'm sure that it'll completely shut off and we'll be all good to go. You'll notice that just as a precaution, I opened up my side compartment and I did a quick temp check on the surroundings of the engine around the actual exhaust area. I have seen coaches that have been regened when they're standing still, and they've actually melted marker lights that are mounted right above the exhaust. It gets that hot, and if you've got a little bit of a mild wind or you're on a summer day, that bumper section can get super hot and you can start melting your plastic back there. So I was very cognizant of that, and it's a nice cool day here. We're at 68 degrees and the wind is actually blowing away from the coach to make sure that that hot exhaust gas is getting carried away from the coach rather than getting pushed back into the engine compartment. But I checked the oil filter, I checked the intake manifold, I checked the block, and I checked the overhead, and I checked the back side of the engine just to make sure that the temperatures were in the normal range, and they were very fine. They were like 150 degrees. Some was even less. So it's running really cool. The trans is 136. My water temperature is 183. And for those of you that have the Silverleaf VMS overhead panel, you can actually program each one of these gauges as you wish. And if you come in here to the programming mode, you can set each one of these gauges to be custom just the way you like it. In this case, this is the panel I've got, and then this is also a dial that can scan through the different readings. In this case, I've got it set to DEF level %, and you can see here my coolant temps 183, oil temps 211. Interesting enough, it's been exactly 1 hour, and I just heard my engine idle down, so it's sitting at 700. Let's take a look at the PDI tuner and see what it has to say. So the tuner says, test complete, warning, do not shut off engine until the high temperature light turns off. And they're referring to the hot exhaust. So again, all the gauges look really good, but it's just warning that the exhaust is hot. And since it gives me an opportunity to dismiss this dialog box, I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to go over to my gauge screen, and then I'll be able to see my DPF end temperature as well as my pyro temperature, which says 310, and I'm gonna guess it's probably more than that, but nonetheless I'm gonna go outside and take my temp gun and check my exhaust temperature myself. The nice thing about having a PDI tuner is it just does everything automatically for you. It literally took maybe 3 seconds for me to go into the menu, go to the vehicle diagnostics, push regen process. That's it.